So now let's begin with the conditional rendering concept. The first conditional rendering we are going to implement with the if-else condition. We will be implementing this interface. Here I have just placed a checkbox, and if the person is admin, then the data is displayed, and if you uncheck, then the data is not displayed, and instead there is another message that is no data found. Now again, if I click on this, you see that the data is displayed. Now in this case, we are going to use the if condition and we will implement conditional rendering. So let's begin with the code. First thing is I'm going to remove the predefined h1, and because I want a checkbox, so I'm going to say input type is equal to checkbox, and here I will have the horizontal rule. In this case, I'll say is admin. So you see that the checkbox is there. Now because the checkbox will also need a state, so I'm going to take a state here. I'll say const is admin, and let's say set is admin, and here by default I'm going to make it true. And with this input, let me also create the input change handler. So on change, I will say input change handler, and here the input change handler, let me just say R handler, I'm going to define the setter method. So set is admin, and I just want to set the value whatever is inside the checkbox. So I'll say e dot target dot checked. So whatever value is selected, that is if the checkbox is checked, then it will return the true, and it will set is admin is equal to true here. Let's try to see the value of is admin, and let me import react comma use state from React so that we don't get this error. And after this horizontal rule, just for checking the value, the functionality, I'll say is admin. It's a boolean value, so I'm going to convert it into string, and you see that now we have the value. By default, if it is not selected, certainly I can make it false also, right? Doesn't matter, be it true or false, that's a next stage anyway. But here you see that the functionality is working. Next thing, we need to have the product, that is the product data. So here I'm going to make a product component. Now I'm going to add a folder here, components, and inside components I create products.js file, and I define a component. Alright, so this product component, I have some predefined code. There is nothing much. It's just that I have taken the use state here, and I have taken the data, that is p code and p name, product code and product name, and this I want to display here. Now to display, you already know, you have already seen in the list and keys that whenever you want to loop through, we have here the array items, and I just say map, and we'll have the inner function here which will return the JSX, and here I can say li, and the li will end here. Every item is passed. Now each item will have the object literal value. So certainly here I can say item dot product name. This we have seen already. Now this I want to put inside the app.js. So I don't want this is admin value now, not anymore. And let me also import the products component from the respective path, that is /component/products. So the component is imported, and here I want to show the value. So let's say products, that's the component name. Let me just return this. So the JSX is returned, and you see the data. Certainly I forgot to put the curly brackets. So now we have the data getting displayed. The important part here is that now we want that if this is admin, then it should display, but if it is unchecked, we do not want this data. So first thing, we need to pass the isAdmin data to this component. So here I will create the property, that is the props, and whatever is the value inside the isAdmin, that I'm going to pass to the component. So this is passed to props. Here the next thing is I'm going to put an if condition. Now observe this. This is conditional rendering we are implementing. Here I'm going to say if props dot is admin, that is if it is true, then we want to display, that is we want to display this section. So this return statement which we have here, that I'm going to put inside a condition. If it is not checked, then I just want to display, that is return an h1 saying that no data found. That's it. Now let me just uncheck this and check, right? So here in this example, it's very simple that we are putting an if condition. The value is passed from the checkbox. Certainly from the beginning I can make this checkbox checked, then the default value will be true and it will be displayed, or I can say false also, and it can be unchecked in the beginning. Like here I can say false, so from the beginning it will be unchecked, right? So now it says the person is not admin, so no data found. If the person is admin, then the data is displayed. So this is how we implement the conditional rendering with an if condition. The question one can ask is, what is conditional rendering? Conditional rendering is all about rendering or showing only specific components depending on a specific condition. This is very useful in day-to-day UI development. For example, if the user is admin, then you want to show all the items in the dashboard, and if there is a different user, you may want to restrict a few components. Depending on users, the interface changes. This is a very common example you can think of for conditional rendering.